Hi there, everyone. My name is Bryant Chase, and I'm the director of social media for CareerArc. And we've got a great presentation for you today on what social recruiting is and how you can find candidates across all the different platforms that are out there. So we're going to take a moment for people to get settled in, and William's going to join us here shortly. William is our social media specialist here at CareerArc. He also has great perspective on things, and I'm really excited for you guys to see what we've got going. So, while we wait for William, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, I'm Bryant Chase. I'm the director of social media for CareerArc. I have nearly 10 years of professional social media experience, and I've worked with brands like L'Oreal, American Express, Ulta Beauty, and news organizations like Mediaite and the Law and Crime Network. Last session, I was really nervous to participate because it was my first time being on camera in a very long time. And I am a lot less nervous because William will be joining me here shortly. If he doesn't make it for whatever reason or technical issues, then I'm going to be fine because we've still got some really great content coming through. So looks like he just joined, and I'm going to get him in here too. There's William. Hey there.
Hi.
So William, thank you for joining us. And I was just kind of doing a light introduction of you, but do you want to introduce yourself?
Introduction to me. Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is William, and I work as the social media strategist here at CareerArc with Client Success Team. I have a couple years experience, I have roughly 5 years experience working in social media. I have a background working directly with the State Department and with a few other government entities, some large performing art venues. I work in e-commerce, and that is how I have gotten here. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, I'll go over our agenda. So we want to share with you all how to locate, attract, engage, and source candidates on social media with social recruiting. So we're going to share specifics for each social platform. And I understand that it's a lot to take in, but we're going to deliver it in a way that's really digestible, that's something that's easy to understand, and that you guys will have some great takeaways with. So first and foremost, I want to talk about what social recruiting is, because it's honestly, at its basic form, it's finding, attracting, and engaging with candidates on social media and like strategy-based posting for your jobs and employer branding. And William, why do recruiters use social media?
No, absolutely. In large part, recruiters using social media because it's a way to reach all candidates, active, passive, active, and it's really an untapped competitive advantage over other competitors. As a matter of fact, Americans spend roughly 2 hours and 6 minutes every day on social media. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little fun fact as to why recruiters are using social. Google was not actually the most visited website in 2021. A little fun fact, it's actually TikTok. So that is just proof that social media.
That's crazy.
It is really crazy, honestly. And so it becomes this thing of more and more people are utilizing social media not only for search, but also for entertainment, which we'll talk a little bit about moving forward. And if you're wondering if candidates actually care about that, and if they're actually also using social media, I'm throwing numbers at you. And if you know me well, you know I would never do that if it wasn't for proving a point. 72% of U.S. adults use social media. 90% of 18 to 29-year-olds in the United States use social media. 86% of job seekers use social media in their job search. And the use of social media actually doubled in the last year. And that's because candidates are doing research. So 75% of candidates consider employer brand performance buying, and they're using social media to best understand that with their potential employers. And also, social media is mobile friendly, so it's often that people are using it when they're on the go to find jobs and entice them and later.
So all those statistics are absolutely wild to me. It's really, really heavy in an argument for social media. But social media is phenomenal for your reach. So your pages and your organic social posts can even appear in search engine results and positively impact your site's SEO. Nearly 2/3 of candidates click on career-related content on social networks. So your social media content can grab your candidate's attention and turn it into action, that action being applications or sharing it with people who will apply. And then the other thing is that candidates will not only look at your career pages, but candidates will literally look at your staff's, at your recruiter social media feeds to learn more. So would your staff's local, or excuse me, I just have to ask this question. So would your staff's social presence be attractive to candidates right now at this very moment? I'm assuming a lot of recruiters would not be fully prepared for that pop quiz. So with employee referrals being the number one source for above average hires, getting your employer brand and job post content out on social is such a no-brainer for attracting candidates. And the benefits are huge. So candidates aren't always on job boards. We know that. In fact, job boards only attract about 30% of candidates. That's about the number of active candidates they're going to actively be seeking content out. But social media attracts nearly 100% of candidates, both active and passive. So we're able to get you with social recruiting more applicants, better quality applicants, faster time to hire, time savings. We even have a time saving calculator on CareerArc's website that shows you how much time you can save over the course of a year. And it's in the hundreds of hours, almost thousands of hours for most of our clients. And we reduce the cost and we give you an opportunity for employee advocacy, and the benefits just roll in nonstop, one after the other, after the other, after the other. So today we're going to take you through each one of the different platforms. So taking you from the classics you all know and love, like LinkedIn, all the way down to Instagram and TikTok. And William, you're doing Instagram and TikTok for a specific reason. Why are you focusing on those platforms?
Well, right, because much like my mullet, there's business in the front, but there's always a party in the back. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about how you can spice up your recruitment strategy with a fun visual platform like Instagram and TikTok.
So we're going to do the business first with the business in the front, party in the back approach. William came styled perfectly for this today. I unfortunately did not, but we're working on that with a heavy shaving regimen. But LinkedIn is the one that you guys know best. All recruiters, nearly all of them, use LinkedIn. It is a beast. There are 40 million weekly job seekers on LinkedIn. 40 million is insane. 2 million small businesses use it to hire. And the other great thing about LinkedIn is that, you know, it's a space, especially where your employees are your influencers, because employees actually account for 30% of brand engagement. So it's really, really obviously a powerful source and has a ton of tools that are specifically geared towards recruiters' needs. But that said, a lot of recruiters put all their eggs in this basket. And what we're going to talk to you about is expanding your horizons for this, because there is so much more in the world of social that you need to consider, because not everybody is on LinkedIn. And you will be very surprised at the people who are on other platforms. And we're going to talk about that as we go through. But consider the non-work friends and family. Those are people who have your best interests in mind, but they might not heavily use LinkedIn. So the great thing about that is that we have Facebook. So Facebook is this incredibly powerful tool. 2.91 billion active users. That's billion with a B. So this is a massive talent pool that you all ought to be diving into. 72% of employers already are using Facebook to attract and recruit talent. So if you're not, you're in the minority here. And Facebook is also, this is an interesting tidbit, it's the number one social media site for work-related social media use. So you're actually getting a lot of employees at existing companies who have to be on Facebook for work. So you're getting an opportunity to be in front of existing staff, those passive candidates who might not actively be searching at the time, but could be there and seeing your content. So on Facebook, one of the things that I love to say, and this is quite literally for all of them, but sharing is caring. And there's that phrase, like, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Shout out to, I believe, Miss Adkins' third grade class, where that phrase was on a poster and stuck with me. So this is where your content gets in front of the grandmas, the aunts, the dads, siblings, cousins. The point isn't always to get directly in front of your target audience. It's to get adjacent and let others do some of that work for you. So you can share literally everything on Facebook team photos, product descriptions, your company mission, philanthropic causes that you support, your benefits, your growth trajectories, success stories from within your company, and of course, not to mention, your jobs. So this is the stuff, this employer branding components that you all have access to will really grab the eye, not only of your candidates, but also their surrounding friends and family who say, oh, you know what? I just saw something that had this benefit on it. I don't know, William, if you get the same things from your friends and family, but I get stuff that's sent to me all the time from aunts and uncles and relatives that are there. And it's also one of the best feelings in the world that you can give to somebody. If I help somebody find a job, like if I share a job posting that I saw on social media and I'm like, oh my gosh, my friend Jenny, this would be perfect for her. I'm going to send it over. And it actually, she gets it. A, it feels good just to send her the opportunity in the first place, but B, it feels good for non-candidates to, if they do send the job and your friend gets it, then that feels amazing for them and it helps build relationships. And as we all know, social media can be a stressful place, but you as recruiters have this amazing opportunity to contribute to positivity on social media, and that's something that should not go unnoticed. So I really want to emphasize that point, that social media can be a super healthy place, and you all can contribute to that here. So Twitter is another platform. There are 353 million monthly users on Twitter. So the thing about a lot of platforms is if you post 10 times a day on Instagram, people are probably going to be like, okay, you know what? You need to chill. But if you post 10 times a day on Twitter, you're literally just hitting the tip of the iceberg. So that's a fantastic opportunity for you to be able to repetitively put content out on Twitter. And it's never going to get redundant because the way Twitter works is it's a one and done sort of feed where people see stuff and then they scroll to the next. So it's not something that people really get bothered by if they see a lot of consistent posting there. The other thing is they want to see you on Twitter. So they want to go to your company and know what it stands for, know what it's all about, but they're also going to go to your recruiter's profile pages. Candidates are 10 times more likely to follow and interact with recruiters than company profiles. That's a big data point that you all need to be aware of. So posting your jobs and your employer brand on your recruiter profiles and your company pages are really, really important. It's also a space where you can engage freely. So you can interact with other people's content because there are no private profiles on Twitter. And that's really, really valuable because most other platforms, you need to either have add-ons or have special access or be friends with somebody to see their content. And so that's a really great thing too. And also, followers aren't necessary on Twitter. So a lot of platforms and marketing teams think follower count is key. And for most marketing purposes, it can be. But for recruiting purposes, it's a little different. And I'll talk about the differences between marketer and recruiter analytics here in a little bit. But the thing that's great about this is that people aren't necessarily going to a recruiter page or a company career page when they don't need a job. And that's not a bad thing. It's great because they go and they may follow it for a period of time. And then once they've gotten a job, they may unfollow because it's not necessary for them anymore, but they know that you're there. And that's very comforting. And they might just go to browse and see what's available and know they're going to come back and check it again later. Lastly, because what I mentioned earlier, because what I mentioned earlier about how quickly content flows through the Twitter feed, that's a little bit different than the other platforms. It's a great space for you to test new content ideas and say, hey, does this really work? Or was this just an idea that I had in my head that seemed great at the time, but then now when I see it on the feed, it's not really doing it for me. It might be a great place that you can use it to test out new content because it goes through the feed so quickly that it's going to pop up and disappear before you even know it. Lastly, Twitter also has a newer option where you can pin key opportunities to the top of your profile. This is huge because that way people don't have to sort through a bunch of your past posts to get to what they really want to find out about. A ton of our clients actually pin their career arc job maps at the top of their Twitter profile. And our job maps is a thing where your jobs, you literally see a map of a region or the United States or wherever you're looking for content or for jobs, and it'll pop up little flags of where the jobs are. And it's really, really useful and easy tool. So it's a great place to be a little pinup. We love that feature. And then the next tool, we're getting towards the back of the mullet now. So as you noticed, I was saying, LinkedIn is really business forward, and then Facebook is a lot of friends and
Headed to
family.
the party, everyone.
Twitter, you're testing crazy stuff, and now we're getting into full party mode. So, William, you want to take it away with Instagram?
Yes, absolutely. Apologies, I heard a rumor that my audio was breaking up, so it was recommended I become the man behind the curtain, or the mullet behind the curtain.
Well, I'll go
apologies
quiet.
for that, everybody. But it's time to let our hair down and let's chat about Instagram. So what is Instagram anyway? Instagram is a free photo and video sharing app. So that means it is driven by visuals and aesthetic. That also means that users and brands are engaging with each other through likes, comments, shares, stories, and direct messages. So there is a wide spectrum of ways that audiences can engage with each other and also directly with brands. And why would a user want to use Instagram for their brand or for recruitment? Well, Instagram is another platform that allows you to audience, allows you to sell products, engage directly with customers and potential clients. But especially so, it really lets you show a little bit of your personality. Remember, Instagram is a visual platform. So we are relying on graphics, images, videos, and the things that perform the best on that platform are generally the authentic stuff. So talking about why you're the place to be, what's new over at your brand, what kind of benefits do you have, what are the fun things you might be doing behind the scenes. This is a really great way to create a visual story about your brand, why you're the place to be, and to shed a little light on the personality of people who are really making the most of your brand. And while Instagram offers a wide variety of features like carousel, standard photos, reels, IGTV, stories, guides, shots, the list continues. The fact of the matter is you can be successful on Instagram by just starting small and starting to post photos, a video here or there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can start with just a few posts about you, your brand, people can make it up, and why you're the place to be.
I wanted to pop in. I do want to pop in and make a point on that, because I will tell you, there are obviously a bunch of the brands who have agencies who do a lot of work for them and make these really elaborate, beautiful job post campaigns. But I find ones all the time that are really simple and really basic. And honestly, sometimes they're not even extremely well done, but they get the job done and they make an impact. So Florida Highway Patrol, for example, I follow hashtags on Instagram, which is a great thing that you can do for social recruiting too. But I follow hashtags and I found that they were posting that they're hiring and what their salary was and some of their benefits. And it was not the most impressive photo or Instagram post ever, but it caught my attention in a heartbeat. And I know that it caught the attention of a ton of candidates for them. So if you don't feel like you're going to absolutely crush it with some beautiful campaign, don't let that stop you, because you can do something really simple, really straightforward that's super effective here too. So sorry, I wanted to make that point, but jump back into it, William.
No, please. The best way to get attention away from me is to cut me off. Otherwise, I do like to keep chatting. It's definitely fun, Brian. So you may be asking yourself too, who is even on Instagram and why would I want to target them? Well, 61.6% of Instagram users are between the ages of 18 and 34. So it's a really great platform to continue to reach that younger audience of Gen Z and millennials. But also, don't count out Gen X. They're actually the fastest growing user population on Instagram. So they're also still there for the taking and for the reach. But I think the biggest takeaway I want you to take from this is LinkedIn is often where we think about getting those candidates that require a specific degree or certification, but don't count out Instagram. Did you know that 49% of Instagram users hold a college degree? And that is almost the same as the 51% of college degree holding users on LinkedIn. So if you are looking for something that requires specific academic or educational background, Instagram should not be stepped on. It's a great opportunity for you to reach those audiences who also have the certifications and the education level you need. And it's a great way to show them your personality and to kind of get ahead of the why would they want to work with you. And
I would have
Instagram's
slept
a
on
really great place. I would have slept on that too. I actually didn't know that until we found this data. I thought about it. And yet here I am, a college degree holder using both LinkedIn and Instagram. I'm part of their own data. And how are brands currently using Instagram for recruiting? Well, oftentimes they're using it to talk about culture, the people, employee spotlights and testimonials, new hires, DEI initiatives, really anything you want to brag about that really sets you apart can be put on Instagram, and especially when you're focusing on the people. And speaking of putting your hair down, if you don't want to take my word for it, I really implore you to look at our client SalonCentric at SalonCentric Careers on Instagram. They have really awesome careers and recruitment dedicated Instagram where they talk about why they're the place to be, special holidays. And they even love to spotlight some of the content being made by store associates. So it's also another way that they interact and engage with associates that maybe aren't in the corporate space, but they want to keep that close-knit connection. And moving on. TikTok, because you don't stop. Am I right, Bryant? Did I say that right? Did I get it? And lastly, we also want to wrap up talking about TikTok, which I think is the big conversation piece over the last year. So you're probably wondering, what is TikTok anyway? TikTok is also a content sharing app that focuses on video, specifically short form. So videos can be anywhere between 15 seconds to 10 minutes. And to date, TikTok has had over 3 million total downloads. They've expanded their video length options, and it's really become one of the biggest social media platforms around, with 1.39 billion active users. So why should you use TikTok? TikTok is for video distribution. So if you're creating and talking about content about where you're the place to be, you've got something you want to brag about, you have people you want to show or highlight, you have initiatives that you're capturing, TikTok is the best place to put it. With 53% of TikTok users being between the ages of 18 and 24, it's also a great tool for reaching Gen Z and millennials alike. That being said, 36% of TikTok users are between the ages of 35 and 54. So there's also plenty of older generation on there for you as well. TikTok is also really unique in that it delivers custom content directly to your For You page. So TikTok is really excellent at identifying key content that they think will make the most sense for you. Additionally, TikTok is really great with personality. There's always a new trend around the corner. So whether you feel comfortable doing a little TikTok dance, just sitting down in front of camera and talking about the benefits of working at your brand, there are a slew of ways that you can talk about why you're the place to be, your benefits, your culture, and interact and engage directly with potential candidates. And like I said, 36% of those users are between the ages of 35 and 54. Just
That's
for Gen Z millennials.
That's crazy to me. I cannot believe that there are so many TikTok users in that age group, and I think it's really, really important for obviously for all recruiters to be aware of that, because most people, I would imagine, assume them all to be Gen Z or young millennials. So it's really, really impressive new data point out there for you.
Exactly. And if you want to talk about why are people so attracted to TikTok, in large part, authenticity is a big aspect of it. People love feeling like they're engaging with somebody in an authentic way. But also, I talked about this earlier, edutainment. There's so many things you can go on and learn about on TikTok. I've learned how to change my oil off TikTok. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I get my news on TikTok because I can follow actual accredited reporters. And additionally, too, TikTok has a thriving community. I know Brian can speak about this as well. Recruiters, HR, TA who are out there actively trying to train and teach candidates the best practices when it comes to finding jobs and applying for them. So there's already of users who want to know where should they be looking and how can they get those jobs. They are waiting for the taking.
Yeah, it's really impressive stuff. So I'm going to switch over and talk to you guys about some other things that you guys will be important. And I touched on this a bit earlier about the concept of atypical analytics. So with a lot of traditional marketing analytics, they tend to focus on metrics of followers, likes, and comments, basic engagement type things. And that's not a bad thing at all. They're great, and they're really important for marketers to learn about. Social recruiting analytics, on the other hand, tend to focus on a few different things. So reach is a really, really important component of social recruiting analytics, because that shows you how many unique people have seen your content. So you're getting in front of a bunch of different people, and oftentimes people will use the data point of impressions. So reach is the number of unique people who see your content. Impressions is the number of times your content has appeared in front of people, potentially repetitively. So impressions sometimes is a larger number, which seems like a bigger deal, and it is also really valuable. It shows repetition of being in front of the same people, but reach is each individual's. Clicks is another thing. So how much traffic is driven to your links, aka your application clicks. So if you're doing a lot of job posts, it's important to track how many clicks those posts are getting, because it's people who are going directly to that application page. Comments. So this isn't as important, but they could be. So people don't often, as you can imagine, people don't see a job post and think like, wow, I have a comment on this. And that's okay. But you can actually work to try and build your comment or build your posts, excuse me, in a way that invites comments. So, asking questions with the post about what more about this job post would you like to learn about? What are some other benefits that you're curious if we offer? We'll be happy to share that too. And speaking of shares is major in the world of social media recruiting. So shares are important because it shows what I was talking to you guys earlier about Facebook. This also happens on Instagram. It happens on Twitter. It happens really across all platforms. But it's the number of referrals of your job to other people. So it's people who that candidates trust are sharing that to them, and that's really, really important. So whether it's your job posts or your EB posts, which are also really crucial, candidates are seeing that content from people who they value. The things that you can put in there are, maybe you have paid parental leave. That could be something that a candidate is really specifically looking for from a job. So be sure to put that out there. Maybe you have a high salary for the role. Maybe you have some incredible insurance benefits that beat out your competitors. Those are the things that you really want to hone in on social media, and they'll send it your way. And then lastly here is saves. So social recruiting is very mobile friendly, which is really, really important. You can look for jobs right on your phone, right in your apps while you're waiting, while people are commuting on a train or on the subway. So saves is a great way where if somebody's browsing but they can't apply right now, that's showing you that people are saving that to follow up on it later. And it tells you a lot about the value of your posts. So other great information. But in summary, I know we've gone over a lot. This allows you to get to 100%-ish of the candidates. Not everybody's on social media. We totally understand that, but the majority really are at this point. It gets you in front of active candidates. It gets you in front of passive candidates. It gets you in front of blue-collar workers, white-collar workers, C-level executives, or entry-level techs, and beyond. So it's just so crucial in that way. And also the other thing that we wanted you to take away is expand beyond LinkedIn. All platforms speak to a variety of those candidates that I just listed, but some more than others. So Instagram is particularly creative, but it doesn't stop, like the Florida Highway Patrol, like I was saying earlier, from promoting their jobs effectively on that platform. A company who I was quite frankly surprised to see engaging in social recruiting. That was very forward thinking, and I'm really impressed by that. And also spice up things on newer platforms. So get to the back of the mullet. The social media mullet, that was a term derived by Adam Lowe from CareerArc, and we all cracked up internally as a company at it. But Instagram and TikTok can really help you expand beyond what you thought you were capable of. You'd be surprised to know how many target audiences are on each of those platforms. And I also think that it is a really great space for you to test out new things and get multi-touch across those platforms too. So I want to bring William back in here as well. So to talk about our kind of call them our double tap takeaways, because we're always double tapping those likes. So William, you really talked about letting your hair down. I feel like you're the appropriate person to talk about that again.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, let your hair down. What we really mean by that is don't be afraid to try new things. At the end of the day, we are all consumers of media, right, in some capacity. Think about the stuff that stands out to you. What do you like to see? What attracts you? And emulate that. I like to call it strategic borrowing. Everything is out there for you to check and make it your own and to try it. And the key really to a social media strategy, and is you just have to start. You have to be willing to make a post. It does not have to be groundbreaking. It can be you sitting in front of the camera. It can be just a picture. It can be just a selfie. But it all starts with you and being willing to try. And also another thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I think you're going to talk about your billboard.
Oh, yes. I love making the billboard comparison. So I want you all to think about social media like a billboard, right? We're so accustomed to driving past a billboard on commutes for those who have them. And the idea is that you want to get those 2 touch points every day. You're guaranteed. So when you need that service or when the time calls, you think about that billboard. But the nice thing about social media is you can get a large volume of touch points across multiple channels in a condensed amount of time. So you're actually getting in front of that so much more quickly across multiple channels in multiple different ways, and generally in a more cost-effective way as well. So I'll leave you with that.
Yeah. So, and then the final thoughts that I want to leave you with is that the challenge isn't to start. The challenge is to start simply. So if you're curious about social recruiting and you're not really sure what it is, and that's why you came here to this presentation, this is fantastic. And I know that social can be intimidating. I work in social media and have for the last 10 years, and I'm still intimidated by it sometimes. The challenge is to start simply. So just doing simple things that can really resonate powerfully. We have some great examples on the Career Arc blog if you're ever interested. And then another thing that I wanted to talk about is I take inspiration from things I see on social media all the time. I also have some experience working in the foster care system. And so I follow some parenting blogs, and there's an account called Dr. Becky at Good Inside on Instagram. And she is a phenomenal kind of parenting coach, psychologist. And she was posting something the other day about how, there's no such thing as perfection. If we look for perfect, we miss out on growth. And so do we say, if I can't do this perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all? Or do we say, I'm going to start slow and build up to a feeling of empowerment within my skill set and within my knowledge? And this is a place to create growth for your recruiting and for your social presence and for your overall success. So I would really appreciate it. If you guys wanted to get social with us, go give us a follow. We are on all the platforms we discussed today at Career Arc. You can find us on all those places. If you have specific questions for either me or William, our email addresses are here for you to pull in and send us a note. We'd love to talk with you. And go check out the things on our website, the Career Arc website, and our social media. We're working to be a place that is edutainment central. We want you guys to get a great education about things that are important in the world of social recruiting and the world of recruiting as a whole. And so our blog is phenomenal. Ellie, who does our blog content, and Tallulah, they do an outstanding job with that. And our website is full of a ton of other amazing resources, like our time savings calculator that I talked to you about too. Shows you how social recruiting, especially through an automated service like Career Arcs, can really make your life a lot easier. So go check that out. And we're consistently working to be the best resources we can be for all of you out there. Thank you for joining us today. And until next time, bye.
Thanks, everyone.